Guys, it's your boy AD back with another video. Now today is gonna be my wife Naruto. What had a twin sister and neglected part 3. So yeah, anyways, before I start, I wanna deeply apologize for not uploading like this video when I was supposed to. Cause I posted a poll saying that I was gonna post this Friday, and I was planning on posting it Friday, and but basically there was like this game that I usually play to just like relax and stuff. It's not really a popular game, and I don't think it's ever gonna really get like popular, but it's helped me relax, I guess. But yeah, there's like a new, basically it was on this first like basically version. Now the second version came out, and got really distracted with that for like basically I was playing it all day for like Friday and Saturday. Then Sunday, which is today, like early this morning, I was gonna upload, but then what's it called? It was like a release for like an anime that I really liked, but I haven't watched it in a while. But there was like a new season for it, and kind of had to binge watch that. So yeah, here I am at like freaking 7 p.m. trying to record this, but it's probably not even gonna come out today. It's probably gonna come out tomorrow afternoon or something. But yeah, anyways, sorry about that. And if you have want to read this series on the web novel thingy, you would have seen that I already posted this since like Friday. This and God of Mundo. I posted both of them because I already finished the script for both of them. I posted them both, and I was honestly planning on uploading both of them this weekend. But again, I got really distracted. So yeah. Anyways, hope you guys enjoy. Let me know what you guys think of this, and like I've said in like one of my previous posts in my last video, I'm not going to be going over the 18+ scene. So yeah, I might just say like one or two things about it, but I'm not really going over it. But yeah, anyways, for following you, let's get this long overdue video started.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach.
So yeah, anyways, sorry for any background noise if you guys hear any. And I actually have a question for you guys. So yeah, anyways, the question is, which MC from like any animes is your favorite like MC? No side characters included. Like you can't say someone like freaking Vegeta or anything like that. That's not MC. But yeah, anyways, basically, which one is your main MC? And yeah, anyways, for following you, let's get this actually started. Chapter 3. New Tsuchikage. Iwa meets death and his angel. Tsuchikage Tower. Onuki sat behind his desk, remembering the events that happened over the time that Minato Namikaze had become Hokage of Konoha. Even though he had been mad about the fact that Minato had killed many of his ninjas, including his son, he had decided to do something with Minato in secret. After he heard of Minato's son and daughter had been born, he had asked permission to have Minato he had he had basically asked Minato permission to have, well, not really permission, more like as a bargaining chip, to have Mito as basically a bargaining chip where he would basically use her as a sex slave to fix the spot that was left like open, like I believe it was 1,000 ninjas that Minato killed, so he was basically gonna like fill that spot. So yeah, that Minato basically showing the wall. Uh, anyways, he had basically like tried to like make alliance with Minato using that as what they want, what Iwai's sides want, and he would basically make alliance with the Leaf. And Minato had agreed without much thought, but he had told him that he would be getting her like when she was in like her late 13s, when she would be able to basically start giving birth, as she would not be of much use to him before that. He did not mind, but today was the day that he would get a peace treaty along with her village new basically start. Onuki was interrupted by the sound of Ko Sushi, his granddaughter, entering the room. Most freaking hell, entering the room. The two quickly exchanged greetings with Onuki. Had been quite happy to see his one of his most basically important person in his life, and his only remaining family member. Ko Sushi sat on one of the guest chairs basically and smiled at her grandfather. How have you been? How have you been doing, old man? I told you not to call me that. Ko Sushi laughed lightly to herself and lay back in her chair. Onoki looked at his granddaughter a bit more carefully for a quick second, as she was usually a very strict person. It would not act. It would not act in such a manner. So I know it isn't your birthday. So why are you so happy? Not that you're usually this cheerful on your birthday. Not that I'm complaining. Well, today it is a very special day. Remember? Oh yes, you must we must basically form the alliance that we are having with Konoha. No, that's not why. Why then? Because meanwhile, outside of the Tsuchikage tower, the Konoha team watched in horror as they saw a beautiful freaking hell. The Konoha team watched in horror as they saw a beautiful sunshine change to complete darkness as thousands of ships came from literally nowhere, and they started to attack with lasers, and many soldiers dropped from them, from like basically, you know how in basically any alien movies there like the beam that would come out of the spaceship and people just fall out of it, yeah, or like go get dragged into it. It's basically this. So yeah, the soldier dropped from the attacking ships and killed ninjas while kidnapping some, mostly women's. The teams, but there were some men's obviously. The team watched as they saw the attackers get stabbed in various places, but the kunais, spears, and many other weapons tried to penetrate the armors, but they failed, and some even hit the real skin, but still failed. The group was forced to watch as people in the armor surrounded them after they took control of the whole village of Iwa. The group of Leaf ninjas were quickly subdued and taken to the prison of Iwagakure. Back in the Tsuchikage's office. What's going on here? Who are you? Onuki said as he saw an unknown man walk in his office. My name is Naruto Uzumaki, and I'm the new ruler of this country. How dare you? Who do you think you are, walking in my office and saying such a claim? Onuki said, starting to get angry at seeing how arrogant this person was to claim his own village. So you still haven't realized it yet. Realize what? That your village has been under attack the whole time that you were here, and that it's already been taken over by myself and my followers. What are you talking about? Onuki said in a dangerous voice. Look outside and find out for yourself. Onuki slowly made his way to the window with a feeling of dread sinking in his whole body, basically, as he saw smoke coming from various places where his bases for umbos and other ninjas were alike, and he soon looked down to see that the impenetrable fortress like village known as Iwa was no more, as all of the Iwa ninjas and civilians were either dead or were captured basically. Onoki's eyes looked in rage and turned around to see the evil smirk that the man freaking hell that was in Naoto's face, as that told the man that he could beat him, but that he was going to enjoy the sight before him, and that he would enjoy what would he basically do next in it. So will you kneel before me, or will you fight against me and die? I will do neither. I will beat you and your army, you foolish boy, and take back control of my village. Naruto smirked to himself, as this smirk promised nothing but pure pain and agony. Not only physical pain, but also mental pain. Naruto soon took out a small ball from his pocket and started to throw it in the air. Now Onoki put both his hands up and started to charge his powerful ability, Dust Release. A cylinder, basically square-like thingy, appeared in front of Onoki, and a beam came from it as it shot, destroying everything in its path, including basically everything that was in the way. And it hit Naruto right in the chest, as he did not dodge, but when the beam stopped, leaving a tired Onoki who was breathing hard, as he was too old to use his ability multiple times and looked about ready to pass out basically. Onoki's eyes suddenly widened as he saw the small ball that Naruto was holding come shooting out of the smoke, and it landed on the ground right in front of his feet. Onoki started to laugh, thinking that Naruto was too damaged to be able to aim properly, or had just collapsed and the ball just went out of his hand. But soon, sorry about that. Got interrupted, and now it's like a week from when I started recording this video. So yeah, sorry about that. Shit. Anyways, Anyways, freaking hell. Onoki started to laugh, thinking that Naruto was too damaged to be able to aim properly, but he was unprepared when a bubble of energy appeared around him. He soon found himself unable to move, as from the energy that was making the bubble, many chains and shackles moved to basically bind him down. So yeah, anyways, as he was basically stuck and couldn't really move. What is this? What did you do to me? Onoki said, angry that his attack didn't kill him, though he was sure it had done damage, despite the fact that he did not see any signs of being tired or hurt from Naruto. His pride made him believe that he had done damage nevertheless. Oh, nothing much. I just threw a restriction bubble at you, and it activated and did its job of holding you down, that's all. That doesn't explain how you survived my attack. Oh, that, well, I suppose I can tell you, since you are about to die, and since even if you or anyone else knew, they can do nothing about it. Well, you see my armor is special. It has multiple different abilities that can be activated anytime that I want, and one of them is that I can absorb chakra, including jutsus, and that's exactly what I did to your Dust Release. But there's more about this ability. After I absorbed the attack, I have the option of either turning it into chakra or putting it in my system, or I can either send it back or keep it stored up for the use. So yeah, I know this is basically like the absorption pain ability, but you can't. I don't think you can send back the attack. I think you can, but you can't like store it or anything like that. I don't think. But yeah, anyways, I'm pretty sure you can only just absorb chakra, and like, yeah, I think that's it. Naruto didn't. So yeah, hearing this, Oniki had a look of fear in his eyes, knowing that this was his strongest attack and he could not use taijutsu. Naruto then smirked and, "I bet you wish you had accepted my offer now, don't you?" Naruto said with a smirk on his face. That said, I know. Forget her. That said, I'm not finished with you. Suddenly, Naruto raised his hand, pointing at Ko Sushi, who was just looking at them with a unreadable expression on her face. What was it? Out of fear or shock, or was it something else? Devapath, Buncho Teni, was all that was said before Ko Sushi was pulled towards Naruto's hand with an invisible force. Naruto grabbed Ko Sushi's head and smirked as he looked Onoki in the eyes to see the fear started to creep in. "Are you ready?" Naruto said with a smirk on his face that promised pain. Naruto suddenly pushed Ko Sushi down, making her head making her head and upper body be on the under the desk that was filled with basically paperwork. Naruto used a small Shinra Tensei to blow all the papers away, revealing Ko Sushi to be basically bending over in front of Naruto, who was still in the same smirk as he put his hand on Ko Sushi's back. This is like a lemon part, and yeah, I'm not gonna like go over that. So yeah, long story short, Ko Sushi got her world freaking destroyed basically, but it wasn't raped. She actually willingly did it. She has a backstory with Naruto, so yeah, it's not rape. So yeah, anyways, Naruto smirked as he saw Onuki start to cry. Naruto, the f is this? And yeah, before I go on, actually, in this story, Ko Sushi has long story short, she's kind of a freak. So yeah, anyways, that's basically the most plain way to put it. But yeah, anyways, Naruto smirked as he saw Oniki start to cry. Naruto stared at the man who Naruto stared at the man who had basically Naruto Naruto said the man who had used to basically see his granddaughter as like a strict, respectable, and basically a dependable daughter turned into basically basically oh my gosh. Anyway, I'm just gonna skip that part because I don't feel like saying it. Anyways, Onuki was devastated. "If you had accepted my offer, this wouldn't have happened." "Well, it would have, but you wouldn't have to see it. And you would still be the Tsuchikage. But now, the new Tsuchikage is now your granddaughter, I'm gonna skip that part as well. Naruto then opened his arm, and a chakra rod basically came from it, and he stabbed it in Onuki's chest, making him bleed. Then Naruto used the power he had absorbed in his armor and sent it back at Onuki to the tracker board, which instead of like making a blast or anything, it just vibrated, it made like shockwave, and these shockwave literally basically made his entire body explode. Naruto looked back to see Ko Sushi still passed out and started to remember how he had basically brought her to his side. Flashback 4 years earlier. Just 1 year after Naruto and his followers, including his beloved sister, started to build their kingdom, Naruto made his way to Iwagakure to get, well, not really Kumo, just like the Land of Lightning in general, basically, to get a stone that had a constant source of lightning, which would be a great source of power. For Naruto and his army, as Naruto was flying, he heard a scream. He looked to see Kumo ninjas attacking someone. Naruto flew down to see Ko Sushi trying to crawl away, my bad. But one of the men from Kumo basically grabbed Ko Sushi and basically like a clothes, which was not really a clothes, more like basically like a dirty rag. So yeah, Naruto fell down as he did. Naruto started to float down. As he did, he threw something, but it looked like nothing came out. but then the man came out of his hand. But then the man stopped moving as they felt something hit them. It was like a drop of water, but much harder, like metal. Then pain shot pain shot out throughout their entire bodies as a massive black rod pierced their bodies, and they soon died. Naruto landed and used one of his Rinnegan powers and made the rods become extremely small, and they flew in Naruto's hand. Naruto turned back and looked at Ko Sushi. Basically, if you couldn't tell what this ability was, basically Ishiki's shrinking and making stuff bigger ability. So yeah, time skip. Ko Sushi had pledged her loyalty to Naruto as he had saved her from basically being raped and letting her keep the only precious thing that she had. As you see, she was quite hated by her father as he was basically a drunk who went to basically whorehouses and just had sex with as much people, like basically girls, as possible. And one day, he didn't pull out in like basically one of the girls like he normally did, and this girl basically didn't take a pill, and basically Ko Sushi was born. And so yeah, and basically the girl forced Ko Sushi's dad to take care of her. This made him basically hate Ko Sushi and basically abuse her and treated her no different than basically a slave, and basically had told her that she basically when she became of age that he would basically sell her to the whorehouse for a lifelong free ticket basically. Naruto had accepted her loyalty, and years later he made his spies on the council give her dad a suicidal mission where he died by an ambush from her and Mito, which was passed off as just a mission gone wrong. After that day, Ko Sushi had been happy and several times more low if that was even possible. And not long after that, she offered herself to Naruto, which he had accepted after making sure that she was okay with it. And months later, he regretted that decision when he basically came from a long day of like basically him like walking in like the empire and stuff to see basically a naked Ko Sushi binded in chains and being basically beaten by Mito, who had basically, I'm pretty sure you guys should know this, but like in basically almost every anime, to be honest, there's always that one weird girl that have like, she's basically like a mad sadist and like beats people up and shit. But yeah, it's basically what these people usually wear. It's like a black panties and like black bra and stuff with like a whip and like spikes coming out of them for some reason. But yeah, anyways, she was basically beating up Ko Sushi with that in the chambers, but Ko Sushi did ask her to basically do it. So yeah, I know Ko Sushi's gonna be winning this one. Like I said, this was one of the rare moments Naruto trembled in fear, knowing that his sister was quite the sadist and feared for his life, and he basically passed out. So yeah, Naruto is not completely invincible. So yeah, anyways, in the flashback, for the time, Naruto sighed, slightly smiled as even though he had a very weird relationship with her, he still cared about her very much. Naruto walked out of the room, making a shadow clone who picked her up and went to put her in the official Tsuchikage chambers. Time skip. Naruto stood on top of the Tsuchikage towers and looked down at his soldiers along with the prisoners. People of Iwa, I, Naruto Uzumaki, otherwise known as the Deaf, have conquered your home village, and I have killed your Kage, but fear not, I have replaced him with a better, stronger, and more suitable Kage, Ko Sushi, the fourth Tsuchikage. She shall be the blessed human who shall talk to Mito Uzumaki by angel of death, and to let me know of important things and stylish of basically yeah. Like basically to like inform him in it. Naruto continued on his speech, and in the end many people who were captured refused to follow and were taken to the basically a deep hole where they were put in like tubes full of like basically like testing tubes. I'm pretty sure you guys know what it is, where they're basically stored for like where in these tubes there'll be like the people in it were basically like a vegetable like state where they won't age, and they can't really talk, they can't really move, they can't really do much. You can only like see somewhat, hear stuff, and just know that they're existing. And they could also feel the chakra was being sucked out of them, not so that they couldn't do anything, but simply because the people, basically the chakra was being transported up to the people on top, which was like Ko Sushi and like the other Iwa ninjas and whoever Naruto sends to the kingdom. And with like basically the chakra being sent up for them to basically use them as they please. The people who accepted and pledged loyalty to Naruto and understand who the people in power are. The first one being obviously Naruto and Mito, although they might as well be one. Then it was the girls that Naruto and Mito were in a relationship with, not only because they were in a relationship with the king and queen, but also because they were all commander ranked people basically. Number 3 were the soldiers from the kingdom, being slightly higher than the regular Kage, as they are considered as fallen angels. But in Kumo Sushi's case, my bad, they are lower because she is in a relationship with Naruto and Mito, and is a commander ranked, even though she is now a Kage, but she still has the commander rank. Does it take away like basically all the privileges? Then there's the Kages that have waited for figure her. Then there's the Kage. They have to basically wait for either Naruto or Mito to call them personally, or the weekly meeting that they have to like report. And lastly, the regular ninjas have powers over the civilians in the Iwa and any other village, but not the ones from in the Kingdom of Pain, and cannot report to Naruto or Mito. They can only report to the Kages, the soldiers, the kingdom, and depending on how important it is, the girls that Naruto and Mito are in the ship with / the commanders. But apart from the obvious leader change, life had improved for Iwa. It changed from being mostly stone to having rivers and grasslands, which was still a mystery on how they did it. They gained a better medicines and could heal pretty much all injuries, including missing limbs, though that was still harder than most overall. Overall, life was better for Naruto's army and citizen, along with the people of Iwa who followed Naruto. Meanwhile, Hokage's office, Team 7, Kakashi, Sasuke, Menma, Hanabi, and Yakumo. Freaking hell. Sorry about that. Anyway, sorry, let me read that. Team 7, Kakashi, Sasuke, Menma, Hanabi, and Yakumo had just gotten back from Iwa and were in Minato's office. Report, Hokage-sama. The mission was a failure. Explain. When we got to Iwa to deliver the letter, we were met with an unexpected sight. When we arrived, we were going to the Tsuchikage tower when we saw a group of people vanish in light, and then the sky changed from bright and sunny to dark and completely covered by giant unbreakable ships. Warriors in unbreakable armors dropped from them, and not even an hour later, the whole village was completely under their control, and we were sent to an underground dungeon. Did you get the leader's name or faces? No, we did not, Hokage-sama, but from an announcement that they made, apparently there are 2 leaders, and I believe one is male and the other one is female, and they called the place they came from Kingdom of Pain. I see, you are dismissed. Hyuga compound. Hanabi Hyuga was wearing a black cloak which reflected the light of the moon, making her invisible, running to a secluded area. And the reason why she's invisible is because of like a seal that makes her cloak act like a mirror to a degree. But yeah, well reflected the light and stuff, basic stuff. But I'm pretty sure you guys should know what that is. So yeah, running to a secluded area of the compound, using all of the stuff she knew to avoid the eyes of the guards from being detected. Hanabi suddenly stopped when she saw a temple. She slightly smiled and let me make sure I'm actually recording this. Alright. She slightly smiled and flashed in. Hanabi walked in, then stopped and stood in front of the pedestal, which had a scroll. She picked it up and opened it and started to read it. Titled Secret Alliance between Hyuga clan and Uzumaki clan. This alliance is a trade of sorts. The Hyuga clan should get this. This alliance is a trade of sorts. The Hyuga clan shall get a seal that stops the clan's eyes from being stolen by a foreign enemy. To modify this, but it is forbidden to modify the seal to do anything like have control over the wearer of the seal or inflict pain upon the wearer of the seal. There was an explanation of how the seal was made and a seal itself in a piece of paper. The treaty has been terminated. The Hyuga clan has modified the seal and made the people who have it on their slaves. We, the Uzumaki clan, refuse to let this go on unpunished, and so we demand the head of all the people who do not have the seals and is the Hyuga. The demand is accepted. We shall send all the clan heads to Iwagakure to be executed. This is after the third Great Ninja War, by the way. So yeah, when the score is written, obviously, but this was happening in the war, but they wrote the score after the war, kind of. Like at first, the score was created in the war, but then, what's it called? The events happened in the war, and then they wrote it down. The rest, but the first alliance part was in the war, obviously. When we went to the Uzumaki home and attacked the unsuspecting Uzumaki, and with their death, we brought down some of the barriers for long enough for the enemy armies of the three great nations to attack them and kill them. Master Jiraiya, along with the boy known as Minato, came and stole the princess of Uzumaki Kushina, and has made the necessary plans to use her, then throw her aside when she is no longer needed. Hanabi shook her head, knowing that this news would make her leader/lover extremely angry, and she was very mad and ashamed that her clan has basically done this kind of shit. But yeah, she rolled the skull back up and basically put it in her pocket, and she sorry with that. She pressed her ears to hear your voice. Report. I have the skull, Naruto-sama. Good. I will send someone to come get it. My Asu will come, Naruto-sama. My angel of death will come. I shall be ready to properly receive her. Hanabi took her hand away from her ears. There was nothing there. Well, you could see like a little. It was like a little orb type shit. Basically, it's like the transmitters they use in freaking Black Panther in Wakanda. So yeah, if it wasn't obvious, this is kind of gonna have a lot to do with Wakanda, because like they're using basically all the technology and shit. But I'm pretty sure everybody found out already, but I'm just saying it because, anyways, it's basically that thing they put in the ears where it will appear when they're using it, but then vanish and basically not be there when it's not using it. Hanabi put the skull in her coat and left. Council room. The clan heads, the civilian council, the three elders, and the two Sannin, still loyal to Konoha and Minato, were in the meeting room. The council was discussing the events that happened to the alliance with Iwa, and To say that they were unhappy about it was an understatement. Suddenly, the door of the room came shooting open, and Memma came running in, panicking. Boy, even though you are the Hokage's son, you don't come into this room without permission, Danzo said as he hit his cane into the ground. Underground, whatever. Anyways, Memma, before he screamed, fucking hell. Sorry. Memma basically like, let me see. Memma basically like fell on the ground before he screamed, "We are under attack. What? Who is attacking us and how many?" Before Memma could respond, however, a chunin came flying to the window. Breaking it, there was a quote-unquote metal spike in his chest, and he got stuck to the wall. "It's the angel of death. She's attacking us," the chunin said as he died from the injuries that he had received. Not a second after he said that, the light coming in the room was covered by a figure. Everyone looked out to see the angel of death herself. She wore a bodysuit that covered her entire body except for her face and fingers. The suit was tight as skin, making it known that this girl had basically a extremely well-built body with all the right curves in all the right places, and even more, there was a lot of green lines on it, and they all seemed to have a purpose basically, but no one knew what that was. Instead of hair on her head, there was many spikes basically that came to be basically they seemed to be coming out of her head basically, which also seemed to be not to be skin on top of her head, but they looked like basically metal. Long story short, I'm gonna like skip the rest because it's not that important. It's basically if you wanna see what Mito looks like in like her battle mode, I guess, kind of battle mode, since it's not really her final form of battle. But if you want to see what she looks like in like when she's battling alone, she basically looks like Thor's sister. Forgot her name. Basically, she's like the angel of something of death or something. Sorry about that. Someone is like. Anyways, basically, like I said, if you want to see what Mito looks like in her like a battle armor and stuff, it's not exactly what she looks like, obviously, but it's like what her battle suit and like her hair and shit looks like. It's basically just look up Thor's sister, which I think is like something to do with goddess of death or something. I don't remember her name or title that much, to be honest, since it's been like ages since I watched that shit. But yeah, anyways, the girl known as the Angel of Death simply floated. They're not really doing anything. The council all walked out. Oh yeah, and she has like metal wings. It basically like Conan's paper wings, but instead of paper, it's metal with like spikes instead of like just like pieces of paper, obviously. So yeah, but surprisingly, she was still flirting with them, which obviously they'll be heavy, but since it's vibranium, problem. Anyways, the council all walked out the tower, and the girl looked. The council all walked out the tower, and the girl looked down on them. Answering missing ninja, angel of death. "What are you doing in our village?" said Mebuki Hamuno, Sakura's mother, with her annoying loud voice. "God damn it, woman, how can one person be so loud?" Mito said, annoyed. "How dare you talk about my..." Mebuki was stopped when another quote-unquote metal spike came flying from Mito and shot past her head. "Next time I won't miss." And yeah, I'll be calling the vibranium bones quote-unquote metal for now, since that is what the people from the Leaf and other villages think it is. So yeah, I have 4 reasons for being here. Meanwhile, in the deepest underground base in Konoha, even deeper than Root, Yakumo Kuruma was running while using the skills she had learned, training with Naruto to use her genjutsu without having to physically paint, but instead just drawing the image in her head. Using her abilities, she made herself undetectable. Sorry. I think I interrupted this video, but yeah. Anyways, I'm almost done, so I should be able to finish the thing without being interrupted. Using her abilities, she made herself undetectable and killed basically all the guards guarding this small base. She soon made it to what looked like a giant safe that seemed to be holding something important. She walked up to it and pulled out a small box and put it on like basically where the password thing is. Not long after, it figured out the password and basically put it in. Opening the safe door, Yakumo dashed in to see what she was looking for. Inside the safe was just a big empty room with a small desk with a file on it, and on the other side of the room was a woman. Yakumo walked up to the desk and read Kushina Uzumaki. Yes, the woman in the room was Kushina, the mother of Naruto, Menma, and Mito. But she was in a terrible state where she did not look like she even knew what was happening. Like, she was not even there and was quite beaten up, and you could see that she was not eating well. If the fact that you could see that the bones shaped all over her body was anything to go by. Yakumo soon went over to Kushina and basically gave her a warm smile that seemed to make the woman remember something, and she mumbled something. Naruto, Mito. End of chapter 3. So yeah, I know I kind of messed up a lot in this part. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, not much excuses, but yeah. Anyways, yeah. What's it called? I read a fan fiction that yesterday. I think it's called. I don't remember the name, to be honest, but what's it called? It was basically a One Piece X Naruto fan fiction, and I personally think it was like a awesome fan fiction. Only thing I didn't like about it was like the guy putting angels and like not angels, Shinigamis in there or something, where like the Shinigami is basically forced now to do certain things. But yeah, that's the only thing I didn't really like about it. But I liked it enough to basically that I've decided to basically do one similar to it to a degree, but there won't be any Shinigamis. It will just be a badass, like straight up badass Naruto is gonna be like freaking kind of godly, beating like freaking people like Aokiji and shit and whatnot, basically fucking with everybody except for very few people. But yeah, anyways, in that one, Naruto will not be the 7th Hokage and stuff like that. He's not gonna be with Hinata. He's not gonna have no Boruto. Sadly, he's not gonna have Himari. But yeah, anyways, sorry about the Himari fans, but yeah, he's gonna be taking a completely different road, and but I won't spoil that road. I'll have to watch the story to find out. But yeah, anyways, for following you, I'm going to be out for now. Peace.